It has been a day of loss and mourning and national grief as more lives of soldiers have been lost in Jammu. But as more young lives are lost in the line of duty, there is an inelegant and ugly battle that has broken out within military families. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. First, let's start with what has unfolded in the area of Doda in the Jammu region today. Yet another terror attack. This is now a pattern. This is the sixth terror attack that has taken place in the region this year. As always, it is young men who pay with their lives in the line of duty. The images you're seeing are of Captain Brijesh Thapar, a young boy in his 20s. They're his proud parents at his passing out ceremony. He is among four lives lost today. As lives are lost, all of us cried when we saw these images at the recent Gallantry Awards. A young widow and her mother in law receiving the Kirti Chakra on behalf of Captain Anshuman Singh, who died in the line of duty saving lives at the Siachen Glacier. But now a horrible battle, a very public battle, has broken out with the parents of Captain Anshuman lashing out at Smriti, his wife, saying that she's fleeing to Australia, she is not allowing them to even touch the Kirti Chakra. Army sources have let it be known that everything has happened as per the will of Captain Anshuman and as per the norms, but the family is demanding a change in the next of kin rules. On a day when we're mourning yet more lives lost in Doda, when we are looking at the sixth terror attack that has taken place in Jammu, when Pir Panjal has become the epicenter, new epicenter of terror, can we afford as a country to have the very public battle that has played out in Captain Anshuman Singh's family? Is there another way to look at this issue? Let me introduce our guests on the program today. On this very grim day, we're joined by military veteran Brigadier Sandy Thapar. Always a pleasure, sir. We're also joined by General Yash Mor. General Yash Mor is also a military veteran. Thank you, sir. And I also want to welcome to the program Meghna Girish, ma'am. Very special guest today. She's the mother of Major Akshay Girish, who sacrificed his life for the country during a terror attack at Nagrota. And she has devoted so much of her life to actually the well-being, not just the memory of her own son, but the well-being of so many military families who are dealing with loss, just like the family of Captain Brijesh Thapar, who has sacrificed his life today in Doda, must be going through. So welcome all of you to the program. I want to start, of course, by paying homage to the lives that have been lost today in the line of duty. It is an unfortunate day. And I think every such loss is made worse if it's followed by what we've seen happen with Captain Anshuman Singh's family play out in the public domain. There must be another way to look at all of this. General Yash Mor, I'll start with you. Yes, there will be conversations that we will continue to have about why the Pir Panjal has erupted, what is going on. But on the program today, when you look at what is unfolding with Captain Anshuman's family, today his father has issued a statement saying that Smriti, Captain Anshuman's wife, is quote unquote running away to Australia, fleeing to Australia with the Kirti Chakra we haven't even had time to touch. What goes through your mind, Sir General Yash Mor?
Barkha, firstly, what a day to be discussing this issue, discussing money over our brave hearts. It really breaks our heart, to see the kind of discourse on Twitter, on Instagram, social media, YouTube. Really, but somewhere this has been going on for so many years that we have been in service. Many soldiers, go very early, and after that there is really an ugly scene which happen. It's a social cause. ये हमारी society का जो कह लो, देखो इसमें there can be many reasons. Firstly, most of the whether officers or soldiers, we come from lower middle class families, and money actually is quite a a factor है, हम इसको ignore नहीं कर सकते. Then what happens is immediately after passing away, killed in action, or many just lost in road accidents, or otherwise also, then there is a very, very ugly scene we get to see. If there are no kids, then between the girls side, the wife side, and the boys side, and I've seen it in rural area, stories don't even make it to mainstream media. So losses on both sides. You really can't say kiska nuksan zyada hai, mother ka hai ya parents ka or wife ka. But this entire thing of next of kin, while the AGIF and the insurance money, states are also sharing it with the parents and wife and all, that is reasonably okay. I think there's no harm in relooking at this entire policy of NOK, especially when the marriage is just a couple of months old. I know a young lady whom I mentored. She's in OTA now, about to become an officer. Her husband died just within 1 month in a road accident from Kumaon Regiment, and
Hmm.
6 months she will be an officer. But I don't know if she will pass away when she becomes an officer, the pension to the boy's mother. So we have to really look at it from the society point of view and from the human angle. Parents can't be just left in the lurch. There are regimental occasions, there are events where parents are not even invited. उनको पता ही नहीं चलता है, because the address is changed overnight. I've seen address being changed, Barkha, on the pyre, कि अभी जो ना हम वहाँ खड़े हुए हैं और तब तक लड़की के पेरेंट्स थोड़े इस मामले में कई बार स्मार्टनेस दिखाते हो, फटाफट यूनिट से जो आते हैं उनको कि भाई ये लो एड्रेस चेंज है, हमारा बैंक अकाउंट चेंज है, एंड पेरेंट्स आर सो, आई फील फॉर बोथ. The loss is really terrible for the young woman to lose her husband, but she will move forward. But माँ बाप के लिए there is no moving forward. Where will they go? उनके लिए तो ये सारी उम्र का एक दर्द है. बट अगर उनको कुछ पेंशन मिल जाए, पूरी पेंशन नहीं आधी मिल जाए, कुछ मिलती रहे, तो एक बच्चे की याद रहती है कि हाँ 1 तारीख को जब पैसे अकाउंट में है, हाँ हमारा बेटा जो है देश के लिए वीर गति को
Hmm.
प्राप्त, हमें उसकी ये पेंशन मिल रही है. सो आई थिंक we need to have a relook at this entire thing from a humane angle. पेरेंट्स कहीं ना बरखा बहुत गरीब भी है, ये भी देखना चाहिए हमें. और लड़की हो सकता है वेल एजुकेटेड है, जॉब भी है, पेरेंट्स का फिर क्या करेंगे, ये भी सोचना चाहिए.
General Yash Mor, first to your point, that imagine, a discourse over money on a day when yet more lives have been lost at the front line. I totally agree. But, I feel that it's important that a gallantry award, a sacrifice, should not be reduced in the public domain to this kind of tutu meme. Now, in this particular case, the young woman herself has not spoken. But you have said that you believe that there should be a rethink. Army officials say that everything that has taken place in this case is as per the captain's will. I know Meghna ma'am and others have worked on a white paper saying this is a very Western concept, Indian families are interdependent, and so on, and we'll come to that in a moment. Why do you believe the next of kin rules need a rethink when the army is arguing that, at least in this particular case, everything has happened as per the will? Group insurance has been split equally between the parents and the young widow.
See, this next of kin thing is also, I think, quite outdated. It doesn't show reality of our families, really, the families which are so, how much effort it takes to bring a child to become a doctor or become an officer, to go to ND or IMA. It's really parents have put in 10-20 years to send him to military school. So I'm from military school. I know how much effort my father has put in to make me reach an academy, So suddenly if something happens within a month or couple of months of marriage, parents के लिए तो कुछ भी नहीं है ना. There is nothing left for all the work. So I think this next of kin also, I used to advise my officers and jawans when I was CO and commander, कि when you get married, please make it 50-50. When you have a child, make it 75 to a wife, 25 to a parents. When you have 2 children, your family complete, a wife, सारी उम्र बच्चे तुम्हारे हैं, तुम्हारे रिस्पॉन्स, then 100% to wife and kids, something like that. I think it's not very difficult to work on these things. Plus we must see also parents की क्या condition है. Not all parents, ये तो शहर के parents थे, it became a big news because it was in media, but hundreds of them in villages, Kargil and beyond also, where there is nobody goes there after the initial outpouring of emotion. Parents are left clutching with just a picture or a photograph and nothing much to show. So I think there can be, we must have a relook, I think, dispassionately.
Okay, so this is important. You believe that there must be a relook, and I could see both Meghna ma'am and Brigadier Thapar seeming to agree with you. But nobody is really speaking for Smriti Singh in this case, the young wife of Captain Anshuman. She's opted not to speak, so there's a lot we don't know. I know Meghna ma'am is wanting to comment, but just before that, I want to play out 2 clips. One, the mother of Captain Anshuman. The family has today said that they believe that the wife of Captain Anshuman, Smriti, will be moving to Australia. She'll be taking the Kirti Chakra with them. They say हमें छूने तक का मौका नहीं मिला है हमारी बेटी का Gallantry Award. I'll first play that out, and then I'll play out another clip that I want you all to see. But first, Captain Anshuman's mother.
इशू बनाई होंगी वो जब रिहर्सल हो रहा था, तो सीओ साहब के साथ हो सकता है उनकी बातें हुई होंगी, कुछ उनको डर होगा कि कहीं माँ लेके न चली जाए। ये मेरे अंदर की बात, दिल की बात है। उनको डर होगा, इसलिए वो इशू बनाई, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था। अगर 2 आदमी पकड़े हैं तो ये लगता है ना कुछ सेकंड के लिए कि कौन छोड़ रहा है, गिर न जाए। उन्होंने छोड़ा और मेरे हाथ में ही रह गया। कोई जोर जबरदस्ती नहीं, कोई मैं हाथ आगे नहीं बढ़ाई, कोई खींची नहीं, पर उन्होंने शायद इशू बनाया सीओ साहब से, और सीओ साहब को बुला के शेयर किए होंगे अब इनके बीच क्या बात हुई। तो इन्होंने आया बोला कि ऐसे है कि तुम बस छू लेना, लेना नहीं। तो मैं कि हाँ कर लूँ, मैं आप कहो तो मैं हाथ भी नहीं ले जाऊंगी, मैं खड़ी रहूंगी। पर आप देखे होंगे 1-2 सेकंड में नहीं हाथ बढ़ाई, पर राष्ट्रपति जी मेरे तरफ देखी, तब मैं हाथ फट से ले गई बढ़ाई। पर मैं बस टच भी नहीं की, ऐसे कर दी। उनके हाथ ही मेरे टच में था, सम्मान तो उनके हाथ में था।
Very disturbing to hear this. And it's disturbing for so many different reasons. But does it have to be this way? Before Meghna Girish comes in, now Meghna is mother to Major Akshay Girish, who gave up his life for this country. What many of you may not know, and I want to play out that clip, is that she helped her then daughter-in-law. She encouraged her to find love again. There are other kinds of endings to these situations, and I want to play out that clip for you before we come to both Brigadier Thapar and Meghna Girish. Take a look.
I think for me, being a daughter-in-law, the place that I am in right now wouldn't have been possible without them. So,
Barkha, I'd like to share here, Sangeeta, if you don't mind.
Yeah, Mama.
Sangeeta was also in Nagrota when the attack happened, Sangeeta and Naina. And we've bonded even after him. Over 1.5 years, Sangeeta and Naina lived in our home. And Sangeeta is now remarried. With all our support and our joy, Sangeeta is remarried.
That's
and
wonderful.
resettled.
Sangeeta, can we have you up?
And so I would like to say
Sangeeta up,
this.
actually.
I am
It's
no
a
longer her mother-in-law because she has another mother-in-law.
She has
so I am another mother now. I
That's
could be her
lovely.
second mother.
I think this is just one of the most moving things I've actually heard. And thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I think we needed the healing touch of that account, and that's why I wanted to play that out. Meghna Girish, you showed that generosity. You showed the willingness to be your former daughter-in-law's mother, not mother-in-law. You were happy for her when she married again. There were no public arguments about whose legacy this was, kiske paas paisa jayega. You just transformed into her mother, from mother-in-law to mother. It really is a stirring account and so important for more and more people to watch that clip. Ma'am, today when you see what's unfolding, what do you feel, given what you've gone through yourself?
Barkha, first of all, each case is different, and I would hate any kind of comparisons. Way before me and Sangeeta, many other mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law have bonded. And I know of young wives who told me how generous their in-laws were. In fact, just like us, even that whatever 33% or 50% of the insurance we have not kept. Though it came to us, we have returned it, duly, legitimately, legally. We've given it back to whatever, our grandchild or our daughter-in-law, whoever. We've not kept a penny. And this is not us. There are many such cases, which is why I feel very sad to see the kind of controversy that's happening and the hounding that has happened of young Smriti. That is not right. Whatever she got was because of the policy. And here I completely agree that the policy needs review. Society has changed, times have changed. We're no longer joint families. Everybody is a nuclear family. Women need to move on. Women have the right to move on, to remarry. And the policy has been changed in the past when pension does not stop even after remarriage, it continues. So in all this, what about honor? What about honor? What about fairness? Today, I would like to say that I do know of Veer Naris also who have, without any asking from the parents' side, have given their mother-in-law 50%. They transferred it out of their own bank accounts, right? I do know of such cases as well. And vice versa. I've already told you about in-laws being extremely generous and having treated their daughter-in-law like their daughter. My daughter was also sitting in that audience. There's never been any difference between Neha and Sangeeta, and that continues. The point here is, what about honor? Why do parents stop being parents or stop being family when their married soldier son was killed in action? He gave his life for the country. How does it suddenly become that the parents do not exist anymore in the records? Nobody sends them a letter of pride. Nobody invites them to raising days. Nobody invites them to functions or felicitations. That hurts. That's the first thing. Second thing is, a lot of parents want to take forward a brave and courageous legacy. I know a lot of parents, putting in their own money and doing a lot of very good work in society. And our government encourages that, right? India needs more philanthropy, more good work, groundwork, because we don't have any social security. No one in the country, children don't leave home at 18 and build their own lives, pay for their own college, pay for their own weddings. In India, parents and children take care of each other for life. Now, whether it's Brigadier Thapar or General Mor, I mean, they would be taking care of their parents. We are taking care of our elderly parents, on both sides. Supposing we were not there, who is responsible? Is the nation bothered about the parents of the soldier or not? The one who's killed in action. My second point, why is a liberalized pension being given to killed in action? Because they have fought for the country, they've sacrificed for the country. It's not been an accidental or death due to illness. And those deaths are always of very young soldiers. They're usually between 20 and 30. Akshay was 30, maybe 33, 35 at the most years of age when they go into battle. At that age and stage, their parents are still young and they may not look dependent. But 10 years later, 12 years later, they have no job, no income. Who is responsible for taking care of the parents of a married soldier killed in action? How come nobody, in the absence of any other form of security, parents continue to pay for marriage, children, grandchildren? I mean, my parents, my father, until he died 3 months ago, I still felt his support. So how do you decide they are not family? And why is the policy not being reviewed in the light of ground realities? We've done enough research. We've presented all the facts. We've presented the situation as well as suggested the recommendations, which are very fair, including, it could be a small percentage, but a percentage of the ex gratia. The insurance the soldier pays for himself anyway. So let's not go into that. A percentage of the central ex, a percentage of the state ex gratia, and even a small percentage of the pension, because pension that is going to a war widow is a liberalized pension, which is the last pay drawn for life. Why are you giving this? In honor, because you've attached a certain honor for having sacrificed the life of the country. Otherwise, it should have been the same as any other family pension. It should have been the same as any other family pension. That's my point. So there is no harm in giving a small division of pension, a small chunk, which can then revert to the wife after the lifetime of the parent. When the parent dies, let the money go. It doesn't have to go back to the government.
Got it.
Go back to the lady in her old age, when she is older. So the point is that review is necessary. There have been a lot of wide consultations on this issue. We have taken up very strongly, even for Veer Naris, small little things like, allowing them to retain accommodation for much longer till their children grow up and maybe pass out of school. Why should they be forced to change schools? Why should they be forced to give up accommodation?
So I think, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, because that's a very that's a very concrete suggestion that we have there, that after the lifetime of the parents, that portion of of money insurance can come back to the wife. But I'm just glad that you also spoke about the hounding of this young wife, Smriti, because we know nothing. We don't know what she's feeling. We don't know what she's thinking. Meghna ma'am, you're trying to say something. Go ahead, and then Brigadier Thapar.
I'm saying it's absolutely wrong, because she got whatever was as per currently existing policy. She did not write the policy nor influence the policy. Why should she be hounded? Why should it become like this? This is not fair. This is not fair on her.
So, Brigadier Thapar, I am seeing comments in the audience. We have one from Siddharth Chaudhary. My father died when we were 5 children, all young. My mother educated us. My brother went to the NDA, joined the Air Force, and died young. His wife got everything. She remarried. This should be discontinued. Now, I read this comment out because I find it a little bit alarming that among the demands that are being made in this relook of next of kin is that if a woman remarries, she should get no recognition, no compensation, no insurance. You look at Meghna ma'am's case where, she has with open heart encouraged her daughter-in-law to find another chance at life and love. And I mean, we can't become petty and start smearing women. There's that part of the story. And there's also, of course, today, before you speak, I just want to play out the images of Captain Brijesh Thapa. His parents, his father's a colonel in the army. And, you look at these images and you think of this young man in his 20s. He has today died in the Doda terror encounter, right? And now you think, what must his parents be feeling? So you feel from the parents' perspective, you feel from the spouse's perspective, and you want to feel from both sides. Is the will the answer? Is a will the answer? The army argues that there's a will, and that's the answer. Whatever the soldier leaves in his will, that should be the way forward. Do you agree with that, or do you think, like General Yash Mor and Meghna Girish, that there needs to be a rethink?
Barkha, you made a very important point towards the end. I'll come to that. But first, I want to tell you that in my about 4 decades of uniform service, it all, I've seen parents throw away a young widow even before the ashes became cold. I've seen a widow walk away, a young widow married 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, walk away with everything and left their parents. I'm talking about officers. Their parents in penury and with nothing. I've seen in Jawans this is happening, that a wife walks away. I've seen even the worst. It happens a lot with North India. Yash will agree with me, and even in my regiment, that there's a concept of chadar udana, that possibly the widow is married brother of the deceased soldier, so that the pension and the benefits stay at home. And most of the times, the widow does not have a say. Even her parents say, who will marry a widow? This has happened very recently. Now we come, so I've seen it all. There at least in my lifetime. In fact, one in my unit, my own unit, which is playing out right now. The issue is there are legalities involved. There's a time what Yash said, that we as CEOs used to tell them 80-20, 70-30. I've also done it. I used to tell them, your parents are, they've raised you, made you capable. Please leave them something. Because what happens is, earlier what used to happen, a Jawan, when he got recruited, NOK parents, everyone writes parents. Most of the times when he got married, the Part 2 order got delayed. Not till the Part 2 order is done, officially it doesn't get endorsed that you got married and she's your wife entitled to. And they don't change. And okay, Jawans are a little careless in this matter. As CEOs, we used to tell them, no, do it. Because once he's made that will, 70-30, 100%, 50-50, that has to be played out that way. Insurance is different. Insurance, group insurance runs by the Supreme Court directive that insurance is shared in all class 1 heirs. That is the mother, the children, and the wife. I know of an incident where the officer's wife died. Yash also knows him. He was married before that. He was divorced. He had a child. His mother was living. His second wife had a daughter. And she complained to me. She says, Thapar, the insurance got divided in 4 ways. I said, sorry, this is a Supreme Court ruling. So there is nothing you can do about the insurance part. Yes, ex gratia, there should be some rules. But we need to educate our Jawans or the lesser element, not the even officers. Some officers need to be educated that you've got to leave something for a parent. Not everyone. Everyone is capable of earning. A lot of us have raised their children hoping that he will look after us in the old age. A lot of people. In this case, the father is a JCO, he's getting a pension. Maybe if he is not a JCO, quite a few people look forward to their children looking after them in their old age, financially, even otherwise. So this may not be in this case. We need to inculcate this habit that it could, General Yash suggested, it could be at a sliding scale. That initial 2 years of marriage, 50-50, one child is born 75-30, 75-25, maybe 80-20 at the worst. It is the matter of there is a greed, there's a factor, there's also a need factor. In some cases, there's a factor of need, maybe not in this case, but what is being done to the daughter-in-law in this case is horrific, bad. It should not happen.
Yeah.
I won't say they are he's a JCO. He is retired at a fairly high level. He should have that much say that he shouldn't bring a family matter.
So-
It could have been discussed.
so-
The elders of both sides could have sat down and discussed it and sorted this out.
so
instead
you're
of
so
making it a
so you're
public
not
thing.
so,
And I must add that this become public figure just because Rahul went there. Otherwise, it wouldn't have become that much of a public figure, public issue.
possibly, and at that time the focus was on the family's comments on Agniveer. It was a very different focus, and now it's gone into a very different direction. Now, General Yash Mor, on this, I'm glad that both Brigadier Thapar and Meghna Girish have spoken about the pressure on young women. It works both ways, right? We've seen both kind of situations, and I think both have referred to that. Now, in this particular case, I don't know if it's true, but some reports suggested that that Smriti, the wife of Captain Anshuman, was being pressured to marry her brother-in-law. And these are the kind of things that you feel very worried about, and also these demands that basically suggest that if you're widowed at a young age, you should not marry, and if you marry, you should give up everything. This doesn't seem fair to women, right? And by the way, as women now get into soldiering at the front line, this is soon going to see a reversal also. This is not just going to be any more about wives alone. This is going to be about spouses. So this needs some application of both thought and compassion. General Yash Mor.
Absolutely. Thought and compassion and the social realities of India. Like I speak on Agniveer scheme, I always add this, it's a socio-economic factor. How can you ignore the, what is happening to our youth, rural youth? In one day, you've just, demolished all their dreams. So in our country, our issues are a little different. Like same issues with NOK. I think with the years of marriage or with children or not without children, I won't comment on that. There must be gradual, there can be a thing worked out where, and also we can consider the financial condition of the parents. Look, Barkha, ye reality hai. Officer or yes, many come from families where parents are just farmers, and get married to women who are highly educated from very well-to-do kiar, and then suddenly, if the child goes away, you can imagine that trauma. They can't even live their entire life comfortably. So while we totally empathize with the young woman losing her husband at this stage, and the media light and the kind of our social media is really, I think, a very, very sad place to be. But we are all there, in some form or the other. But you really can't read the comments. But overall, I think we need the Army, Navy, and Air Force must sit together and work out. Maybe take analysis, maybe speak to veterans, maybe speak to families. And AGIF will have all the data of last 20, 30 years, at least from Kargil onwards, who have died, what happened. So many cases piled up. I think we can work out this. And there is no, NOK also, and especially as, Meghna ma'am said, the liberalized family pension is very good. It's really very good. You get your last pay drawn. That surely can be shared. Some part with the mother, with the father. And that महीने की एक तारीख को अगर आपको 20-30-40 हजार रुपया कुछ भी अगर आ रहा है ना, that will lighten up their life, and they can spend that money on grandchildren. और या स्कूल बनाते हैं. बहुत से लोगों में ये रहता है हमारे बच्चे की याद में हम क्या करके जाएं. और ये मत सोचा सिर्फ शहरों में होता है. गांव में स्कूल में कमरा बना देना, स्कूल के बाहर एक गेट बना देना अपने बच्चे की याद में, कोई गौशाला बना देना, कोई प्याऊ बना देना. These are, you go to our villages and see. तो तभी बनाएगा ना जब उसके पास कुछ होगा, तो उसको फक्र होगा, चलो ये मेरे बेटे की शहादत पे मेरे को मिला था, तो मैंने उसके नाम पे एक स्कूल में कुछ कर दिया, गांव के अंदर कुछ कर. So seeing all this I think there is a requirement to have a relook at this entire policy of NOK.
Meghna ma'am, if I can bring you in, and you said कि आपकी अपने case में you gave up everything. Why did you do that? And two, did you consciously say that I have a very young daughter-in-law, I am not going to bind her, I am going to encourage her, that's what my son would have wanted, that's what my grandchild would want. आपके मन में क्या था? You know, it's very important to understand how difficult it was for you. Did you feel like you were letting go, or what did you feel?
No such thing, Barkha. First of all, the unit JCO who came with the paper said, as per the will, you have been, 33% nanas in the AGAF. I said, first of all, I don't need it. That was my first thought. I don't need it. So can I, give it back? Maybe put it in Naina's name when she's 18. That took about 6 months because the whole thing had to go through legal, and it's done. But let me tell you one thing, Barkha. A lot of parents have done this. It's not just us. I know of many cases. I just happened to be on your show and this came out. There are many who've done a lot. The point is not that. The point is that everyone here who's talking about the will can only divide your insurance. They cannot say, "Mere ex gratia mein se itna percentage inko de do." Especially not the central. State governments have themselves decided कि हम parents को इतना wife को इतना देंगे, and only very few state governments, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, maybe Uttarakhand, Maharashtra now, and most of them in the south like Karnataka, उनमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. जैसे कि एक का है ये lump sum and it goes to the next of kin. The next of kin for a married soldier is always the wife. Thirdly, pension का कोई division नहीं हो सकता. The soldier cannot say मेरा pension divide कर दो. There are conditions attached. Conditions is that the parents should have less than 9,000 rupees a monthly income. Less than 9,000 rupees monthly income. Please, why are there no such conditions for the pension to be dispersed to parents of unmarried soldiers then? Why is only parents of married soldiers being discriminated against with such conditions? Why should there be conditions when it comes to honor? Whether it's a condolence letter of pride, whether it is invitations, whether it is disbursement of ex gratia, you're giving a higher ex gratia out of honor, not out of need. Similarly, you have given the parents of unmarried soldiers the entire entitlements as next of kin, right? You've not asked them, go bring income certificate, मतलब तुम्हारे पास अपना घर है, स्कूटर है, 9,000 रुपए से ज्यादा तो तुम्हारे आमदनी होगी, कोई जाके एसेस करेगा, तुमको 9,000 rupees a month से ज्यादा पैसे मिल रहे हैं, तो even if you petition for a share, you're not going to get it. This is what is happening in all the cases that we have researched. When we did our study, we didn't do it thinking of, parents की तरफ से हमने नहीं किया, हमने किया families of brave hearts, जिसमें 80% तो wives का ही था. But what came out from the ground reality shaped our suggestions and recommendations. That is what shaped our recommendations. It was not our personal situation. It was never our personal situation. God has been kind to us financially. It was never. But yes, why would we, Girish and I, not want a letter saying, from the defense minister or the chief saying that we are proud of your son's sacrifice? Wouldn't I like it? Luckily, our unit is.
But does that happen? I want to understand something before I come to Brigadier Thapar for a last comment. Meghna ma'am, does that actually happen that even if, imagine, the spouse gets the bulk of the benefits, do parents actually stop getting invited to regimental functions, to commemorations? ये सच में क्या होता है?
हमारे केस में नहीं होता because the unit is in touch with us. But सबके केस में यही होता है.
क्योंकि एड्रेस चेंज हो गया ना. Finally, we all follow what is there. Just when the address is changed, unit में किसको परवाह है address कहाँ का है? So then after that, the moment they change the address and bank account, after the parents are gone. It's so sad.
Oh, that's very sad. That is very sad. That is really heartbreaking.
हमारी फौज की और हमारे उसकी सिस्टम की कि हमें कोई because फिर फाइनली सिस्टम में है, ठीक है, मतलब सैड है ये कि हम लोग अपने कितना याद करते हैं अपने जो चले गए फौज में. और यूनिट्स भी है, तो मैं जानता हूं अक्षय गिरी की यूनिट मेरे स्कूल का है, हम स्कूल वाले बहुत याद करते हैं ऑफिसर्स को. फिर भी जवान, मैं कह रहा हूं बरखा, यूनिट वाले कहाँ याद करते हैं यार? कौन पूछता है कौन से जवान का था? उस वहां पे यूनिट चली भी जाएगी ना 10-15 साल बाद, वो पूछने भी नहीं जाएंगे यार 71 की लड़ाई का कोई यहाँ पे है. जो हमारी यूनिट के लिए हम अपने रोज के इसमें इतना बिजी है कि इन सब छोटी छोटी चीजों को, जो बड़ी जरूरी चीजें हैं, जो कॉमराडरी की चीजें, उनको भूल जाते हैं कहीं ना कहीं.
Ji, Brigadier Thapar, before I give Meghna ma'am the last word, if you'd like to come in. That, I didn't know that. I didn't know ki even commemorations, memories, anniversaries, regimental functions, if your address changes and the address is with the spouse, the parents don't get invited. That is really sad. What is the way forward, Brigadier Thapar?
It's not only the address, Barkha, what the journalist said. We, in the unit, you deal with the NOK. NOK is the last link you have with the family. So you do your best. You don't even know it. Half the time you don't even come to know that this happened unless the family, the affected party comes and cribs to the CO. Sir, hamare saath ye ho gaya hai. That one has walked away. My in-laws have taken all the money, or the wife has taken all the money and gone. We are left destitute. So, but NOK is primacy, and in most cases it is the wife. So if somebody is serving from that person's unit, village, it brings out the fact to the attention of the authorities that no, the parents are also there, and then you definitely would like to invite. But like I said, NOK is the it depends on unit to unit, the drills, how good a unit is, how old they go back, because institutional memory fades away with time. And now the soldiers and JCOs and officers, when ma'am's son was serving, another few years they will all have moved out. His memory will stay, but it will slowly, as those who have interacted with him, who are the unit, slowly, then it becomes more of historical fact, and that is what happens in most cases. He was an officer, and he showed the bravery, so he will be remembered forever. But slowly, the parents will be sidelined,
forgotten,
or this happens forgotten after some time, 20 years down the line, and so that happens.
Yeah. So all three of you seem to be in agreement, and I'll just give Meghna Girish the last word, that the policy does need a relook. But Meghna ma'am, when you were pointing this out to former Army Chief General Malik on social media, he said, to avoid taking one side, because the complexities can be on either side. Sometimes it is the wife, the spouse who suffers. Sometimes it's the parents who suffer. We fell back on the will. And I know you posted the findings of your study or research, which showed how many families of, poorer Jawans especially are going without the recognition. What then is the one change you'd like to see immediately in this policy, Meghna Girish?
I think what is required is fairness. You must consider parents or married soldier also parents. They don't cease to be parents because their soldier child was married. That is the first, you need to first mentally accept that. Once that is done, please extend honor in form of letter, in form of invites. Second, please extend whatever a small share in the honor that is given, the higher amounts that are given to the wife of a soldier killed in action. Thirdly, please give them ECHS treatment cards. Just give them cards. They may never use it. Just give it to them. At least they will enter a hospital and feel that hamare bete ki wajah se hum yahan ghus to sakte hain. If they don't need it, they'll in any case not use it. They will have their private insurance. And don't put conditions of 9,000 rupees a month income for anything which is related to honor, because you're not doing that when it comes to unmarried soldiers of parents, or for the wife. The wife could be a heiress for all we know, right? So don't do this. Don't equate money with honor. Secondly, what I would really like to point out here is we have more and more women in the services, and tomorrow, whether we like it or not, there could be casualties. Are you going to do the same thing with the parents of the woman, of the spouse? Or are you going to ask the lady officers never to put their husbands on their NOK lists? What are you going to do in your Part D order? How is this going to happen? Are you going to ask them also, are you getting less than 9,000 rupees a month? So I think it's very sad to do all this. Don't put money and honor together. Give them a small amount. If they don't need it, they will revert it back to the wife and the kids, or they will use it for their other children or for charity, which is fine, which is absolutely fine, because that's exactly the the kind of respect that you're giving to the widow of the soldier.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. I did refer to the more and more women in the forces. Society is changing. Brigadier Thapar, I was going to close, but you had a quick point, and then General Yash Mor, you can also come in with a quick
Yes,
point.
I agree with wonderful points ma'am has given. The last two, especially the canteen card and the PCHS dependency, he's authorized. The parents are authorized. If a soldier had retired in his after his service, they would have been included in the if they were dependent on his ECHS and canteen facilities. So that there is no legal aspect to it. That the army can do it on its own. So that must be done so that they feel that something is looked after, canteen and medical is looked after.
General Yash Mor?
Wonderful point by Meghna ma'am. Really hats off to you. You brought out more issues than we who have been in service, ma'am. Really high respect for you. मैं एक ही point है जो कीर्ति चक्रा का जो छोटा सा बात चल रही थी.
एक minute, Meghna ma'am trying to say something. एक minute. Meghna
I'm saying it's all come thanks to a very detailed study which took us about 2 years with a lot of volunteers across the country, many of them young people, So this is a very fair thing. And if there is some other time, I mean, with both as veterans, we can also discuss the other issues that we looked at
Of course, we'll do that. We'll make. I always say Veer Naris are soldiers themselves. But General Yash Mor, I'll let you close.
Yeah, last thing is, I think that small issue of who will hold the medal, I think we can have a replica also, given, and it can be chosen by the family. It can
Absolutely.
be left. Why not? We can have, we make replicas of so many awards. We can have, both can carry a, medal home.
I think some very constructive suggestions have been made in this conversation, and I thank all three of you with them. With your permission, I would like to leave our audience with the images of another young life lost. We opened with that. Homage to our soldiers and their families in Doda today. Captain Thapar and three other soldiers lost at the front line in Jammu. We leave you with these images, and we thank you, General Yash Mor, to Meghna Girish, and to Brigadier Sandy Thapar, and to our audience. Thank you for joining. Think tonight of these officers, these Jawans who are literally standing at the last tier of defense for India. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.